What's up, YouTube? Back again with another new video. Now, for the past 2 or 3 weeks on my Instagram Live, I've been teasing this video idea, and since then, a lot of you have DM'd me like, yo, is that video coming out? When's that video coming out? And here it finally is, streetwear brands that use Gildan. Now, this is not going to be the roast session that I know a lot of you want, but don't worry, I do have a video that will be a little more critical coming out within the next month or two, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And basically, where we should start this video is saying what Gildan is. Now, Gildan is a clothing manufacturer based out of Canada that produces blanks. So you got your blank tees, blank hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, etc., etc. Kind of similar to like a Hanes, Fruit of the Loom, American Apparel. But I wouldn't necessarily say that Gildan is completely bottom of the barrel, low tier in terms of quality. But I also wouldn't put them at the top upper scale either. But the big kind of thing with it is that they're really cheap in terms of pricing. I think it's $1.20 to $1.45 per blank t-shirt. And there are a lot of streetwear brands that are really popular right now that have been using Gildan blanks. And there is nothing wrong with that. But when you look at their profit margins and like the way they price things, you would swear that they're selling you something of an amazing quality, when instead you're kind of just getting a lackluster basic product. And obviously there are some people who are aware of this and don't care because hype, like cool, hype, I just want it, hype, fuck it, I don't care. But there are other people who I noticed were not aware of this. And they're like, yo, what the hell is this? I paid $200 for this and it feels like shit. And that is not a knock to Gildan, and that's not a direct knock necessarily at the brand either, because I do know some brands are going to be like, well, we think our name is worth this much, therefore we shall charge this much. But where the problem lies is some of these brands claim to be all about the youth and the culture of streetwear. But how are you all about the youth and the culture of streetwear when you're kind of like putting out a pretty shit product, in my opinion? Like, you're using a $1 t-shirt, right? With the most generic, basic logo screen printed on. And you're gonna charge another $149 or more for that tee. I just don't see the logic in that, and I think that's where the main fault is a lot of these individuals just, I don't know, they spew out all this bullshit like they're all about the kids and they're all about, you know, streetwear in general, when in reality it just seems like they're all about making a quick buck and never sending out your products. So we're going to start off with the first brand that comes to mind, and it is Antisocial Social Club, often referred to as Anti-Gildan Gildan Club or Anti-Shipping Shipping Club, because a lot of people never get their shit. Now, I totally understand when you start from humble beginnings, you got to use something cheap because maybe you don't have the capital to start off printing your design on a higher quality shirt. But Antisocial Social Club is pretty big now. And to my knowledge, a lot of people who are still buying this stuff tell me that it still feels like the Gildan stuff that they were selling a year or two ago. And I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just the hype, maybe people really like Neek, but I personally can't justify that. And I would like to tell people, like, I'm not trying to knock on anybody's hustle, but if you're not sending your shirts out, like, you're already selling a pretty low tier product with a pretty generic logo. But if you're not even sending your product out, as you can see all over the internet, people are saying that Antisocial Social Club doesn't even send their shit. Like, the shipping is horrible, the customer service is horrible. So I guess the customer service is essentially antisocial. Maybe that's like the whole shtick with it. But I just don't get it. And I just think that's really bad on them, because I've seen people comment on their Instagram pages like, yo, how are you driving a McLaren but you can't ship out t-shirts to people? So I don't know. But if any of you thought that Antisocial Social Club was something of like a high quality, I would say it's not. I've felt some of the stuff in hands, and although I do say that their t-shirts are kind of not horribly priced, I think they're $30 to $40, and when you compare that to some of the other shit on this list, that sounds like a downright bargain. But when you consider that you're probably not going to get your shirt in the mail, maybe it's not a bargain. But anyway, moving on to the next brand, we have the Pablo merch, and what else can I say? The Pablo merch is essentially tour merch, so I guess you can cut it a bit more slack because it's not like some dedicated brand for the most part. And they sell their shirts for, I believe, $40 to $50 as well. And it depends also with the hoodies and the long sleeves, which are also Gildan as far as I know. And I don't know, like, I get it, like, in the past, Kanye's used Hanes Beefy tees for Watch the Throne, but those were only like $40, and there was more design element to them. And I just don't want anyone to be fooled like, oh, I'm paying $300 resale for this stuff, so it must be good. No, you're paying for hype. You're literally paying for hype. Like, it's a $1 t-shirt, bro. Like, don't get it twisted. All that shit on fucking AliExpress or eBay that people are like just printing their own shit, it's about as close to real as the other shit. Because, like I said, it's just a Gildan tee with some pretty basic screen print. It's really easy to replicate. And although I'm not condoning making a replica, if they're both Gildan, it's kind of the same shit, right? Anyway, moving on to the next one, which is V-Lone. Now, a lot of people have been really mad with this because I guess they weren't originally aware. And there are V-Lone shirts that can cost up to $150. And I've had a source tell me that the camo shirts are Rothco and the black tees are Gildan. And then someone took a picture and put it on Instagram of one of the V-Lone pop-ups where there's a bunch of Gildan boxes like right behind the cashier or something, which is pretty fucking hilarious. Now, I know they can't prove that the V-Lone tees were on Gildan for the most part, but based on what I've seen, because I've seen them in person, I'm pretty sure those are Gildan blanks. I know for sure the camo shit that they sell is Rothco, which also is not really that expensive of a brand. But hey, I mean, I guess profit margins are more important than the culture. And next, moving on to one that actually caught me by surprise. Now, I do have to note though, it's Fear of God, but Fear of God does not use Gildan for all their stuff. They do have, the majority of their stuff is cut and sew, but there's a few capsule collections, like I think it was like a LA or like a Celtics or some type of shit shirt, as well as these other ones that had like Bible verses or something. And apparently those shirts were several $100s, but they were Gildan tees. So I don't really understand. Like, Jerry Lorenzo kind of portrays himself as being more high-end, but I'm sorry, no high-end designer would ever use a $1 blank. Not even a $5 blank. Like, come on, like it would be cut and sew. And I just think that's kind of bullshit, because a lot of people think, I'm paying this much, this must be a great high-quality item. Or maybe some people know, oh, I'm just paying for the name. But when you have a lot of these designers or like these friends of rappers, etc., claiming to kind of be on that like Gucci level or just like on a higher level of design, but they're selling you stuff like this, because if they really did care about you or like their fans in general, wouldn't they want to put out the absolute best product they possibly could? Especially when you consider everybody I just named, like all these brands or all these artists or designers or like rappers, whatever, they all are rich now. So even if from humble beginnings they had to use lower tier blanks to kind of get their brand rolling, they're all rich now. They could up the quality easily, but no, like they don't want to fuck up their profit margins. So I don't know. It puts a bad taste in my mouth knowing that there's a lot of these people that make all these claims that they're totally 100% about the culture, yet they do stuff like this. So it kind of shows just because something is expensive does not mean that it is of a high quality. And like I said before, this is not a knock on their hustle, but it is a knock on some of their ethics and some of the bullshit they spew on social media. Like, don't believe just because they tell you that they're about this or they're about that, that's actually the truth. Like, actually look behind the scenes sometimes and realize that these people don't give a fuck about you, for the most part. And no, this is not a knock on Jerry. I'm not trying to go at anybody right now. I don't want anybody to get this twisted, but come on, man. Like, in general, all of you have the ability to make something better. But Neek in particular, send your shit out, bro. Like, you're whipping McLarens and Ferraris. Like, okay, it's turning into a fucking rant now. But yeah, dude, like, send your shit out to people. Get better customer service instead of buying all these fucking cars and shit. Or at least just admit that your shit is dog shit, like your customer service is complete dog shit. But yeah, anyway, I don't fuck with these brands anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But I just want to let a lot of the younger kids know that a lot of the shit's low-key not with the shit. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Sorry it broke out into a bit of a rant, but The real rants are coming pretty soon, so make sure to stay tuned for those. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram to keep up with the live streams. And peace out, YouTube.